So this is Saturday the 16th of February 2019 and I'm meeting this afternoon with Dr. Aung Khin at his lovely home in Yangon. Now, I think your nickname or your name at school was Jimmy.
Yes.
Jimmy. So can you start talking about your life of when you were born, where you were born? When were you born?
I was born in 13 March 1932 in Kamandai, Rangoon, Myanmar, Burma those days.
And your parents?
My parents, my grandfather of my father came from Bagan, which is in central part of Myanmar, and my grandmother is from Kamandai, Yangon. And they are my grandmother is a daughter of landowner, and my father is those days sailing boat going up and down Irrawaddy River, and he was the shipmaster. He had 2 or 3 ship group trading between Lower Burma, Rangoon, and Upper Burma, Bagan, Mandalay, Pakoku area. And they met, and my father was born in Yangon. My grandfather is very enterprising. He started in 1920s or something like that, a taxi company with 20 taxis in Yangon. So he got the taxi company. That time Myanmar Oil called him and gave him an agency for petrol station in Kamandai. So he is doing the selling petrol, and also he import some textile from India. That is my grandfather's business. Since he don't know any English, he was one time cheated by the Indian merchant. Since then, he makes sure all his son and daughter learn English and speak English. So he had 5 children. The eldest is a daughter, next is a son, which is my father, and third is a son, and other 2 sisters. The first one don't learn much English, and she married to a monk, and then the monk is defrauded and must. And then my father went to college in Colombo those days. That is in 1920.
You taught Colombo, Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka, but he finishes intermediate 2 years. But my grandfather died. He is supposed to go to London to finish the other 2 more years. Those days, to get a degree, you have to go to London. And then my younger, another son and 2 daughters. All the 2 daughters are graduate. That time, when the daughters grown up, there is Rangoon College already established. And they both got a degree. One is education. Both of them are education, become teachers. And those days, before the war, Second World War, if the Myanmar educated college graduate, Myanmar college graduate girls, no boys will marry them because they are not graduates. So two of my aunts, they become unmarried till they die.
Oh my goodness.
And all their profession is teaching. They are all teachers.
And the third brother, the
third brother he married to a woman in Shan State, Chao Ben, and he had a business of buses. He owned some buses between Mandalay and Lasho Transport near the China border. And he also married in Shan State, Chao Ben, but the sad story is he had no children. So the only children left is me and my younger brother.
From your father?
From my father.
How did your father go into having ships if his father was into buses and petrol stations?
So when my grandfather died, he took over this petrol station and textile business. But then the war broke out.
So what was it like for you when you were a little boy? You were born in 1932.
Yes, I was born in 1932.
So you're 7 when the war started.
Yes. And then my young day, because since my grandfather is so enthusiastic about education and English language, we are all sending to school. And during my childhood, in Rangoon there are a dozen of famous missionary schools, such as Hushin Baptist English High School, St. John High School, St. Paul, Diocesan, etc. So I went to, first I went to ABM school, American Baptist Missionary School, where my youngest aunt is a teacher.
Okay.
Is a teacher.
Yeah.
So I went there for 2 years for my kindergarten, but my father transferred me to the to the Baptist English High School in Alone. And there I finished my first year, second year, and third year, and the war broke out.
So where is Alone?
Alone is between Kamadai is the West Yangon, and before you get to central Yangon is Alone, another
suburb. Right.
Another suburb.
So the war broke out.
And the war broke out.
What happened then?
So I want to say a little bit about those days.
Yeah.
There are missionary school, there are government school, but in the countryside, there are only a few government schools, mostly monastic education, monasteries, which they can't teach English. Anyway, the war broke out in December 1941 because our war broke out when Japan declared war, not before that.
Not the European War.
Not the European War. In December 1941, and we moved out from Rangoon about 100 miles north along the road at Lebanon. And then from Lebanon, we know we are on the Japanese army invasion road. We went up to my grandfather's birthplace, Bakan.
on the Irrawaddy.
On the Irrawaddy in central Myanmar. We go by car to Prong and sail up to Bagan along the Irrawaddy River. Anyway, our Kemenang quarter in Yangon was bombed by Japanese and our house were burned. So the Japanese army passed through Bagan and eventually they have a battle in Imphal at the Myanmar-India border up north.
Did you interact? Did you see Japanese soldiers? How did they treat?
No, because my father took me to a village 4 miles east of Bagan called Pazwa, which is one of the Queen birthplace. They call Pazwa. Buddhist Myanmar Queen birthplace. Anyway, this is about 100 houses village, and we lived there for 10 months.
The whole family?
The whole family. My father, my mother, and me and my brother, 4 of us.
The Japanese didn't want your father to help them with buses and things like that?
He tried to avoid them.
Okay.
He tried to stay away from Japanese. Japanese mainly stay in the town.
Right.
So anyway, after 10 months during the war, we came back down, hoping that we can get back to Yangon. But we can't. Because our house was burned, so about 60 miles north of Yangon, a town called Oka. We were stuck there for 3 years.
Oh.
And I finished my primary education in the government high school in Oka.
But there must have been long periods when you didn't have any education, right? No, was there school all the time that you were in those villages?
I had no school during the 1942. 3-4 I have school in Okan, and then when it come to 5 with the British Army take over and Japanese surrender, we came back to Yangon, Kemenai.
And what did you do about your house?
We rebuilt it with some wood and bamboo, just to livable one. And then the British come back, the petrol station start again.
Because your dad must have been quite well-to-do.
Yeah, he was educated, well educated. He speak English very well.
And the business must have been good too.
Yes. We have 2 petrol stations those days, one in Kemenai, one in Taucha, which is the entrance of Rangoon. And then I was schooled in Central Government High School, which is in town, in Yangon town, opposite the General Hospital.
Oh yes.
That is also the high school my father graduated.
Okay.
From there, he went to Colombo.
Which, yeah, obviously his father, your grandfather, must have been in a position to send in a well-to-do position to send a child to Sri Lanka.
Yes, he was. Yeah. He was doing the textile import business.
So you all went to this same school, you and your siblings?
Yes, Central High School. I graduated in 1949 and went to college, Yangon University, Rangoon University, in 1949.
And tell me about independence. What happened? Was there any difference around?
Okay. independence, as far as I know, in 1945, early 45, there was the Myanmar Army revolt against the Japanese Army led by General Aung Khin. Because we were in Aung Khin, 60 miles north of Rangoon, and there was a fight. So we have to move few miles east into the village. And there are also resisted soldiers. I was about 10 or 11. I met 16, 17 years old revolutionary young fighter, and we are friends. He liked me like his younger brother. And there they keep their arms under the haystack, inside the haystack.
Just like in the movies.
Yeah. But as far as I remember, there are a couple of fights, 2-3 fights, that's all. And then the British Army moved in. And I still remember we were back in Aung Khin the day the army moved in. The army came in with brand carrier and trucks, British officer and Indian soldier, 14th Army, British 14th Army, moved into the town, and some passed on. So there is no resistance from Japanese. Japanese army already moved across the Piguyoma, and they are fleeing into Thailand.
Did you understand as a young boy what that all meant? Was it all just didn't mean anything, or did your parents, this was a big day when the Japanese were leaving and the British were coming? Did people think it was positive or negative, or?
It is a positive because we know the British are coming that day, because they are already 10 miles north of us, already there. And then we are all watching. There's no fight. Also, we know the Japanese are all gone. So on the roadside, as a kid, we are hailing the army coming in. I remember that day.
Right. And did things change immediately, or did it take some time?
I think, I'm not very sure, because I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I think the thing changed immediately. Anyway, after a few days, my father hired a small truck, put all our belongings at the back. My mother and my younger sister and my younger brother sit in the front seat with the driver. My father and I'm at the back of the truck, small truck. We went back to Yangon.
And life returned to normal for you, going to school and...
Yeah.
And
not immediately, take a few months before.
And so you went through high school. Were you a good student?
I pass every year.
Pass, yeah. Yeah. And then you went to, you were saying, to Yangon or Rangoon University
in 1949
to study it's a general degree in the beginning, isn't it? You don't were you science stream, or were you?
No, it's a general. I joined geology. English and Burmese is compulsory.
Yeah.
Geology, physics, maths. It's my other 3 subjects.
And why did you choose geology?
Because I was fond of mineral and jewelries. when I was young. So I like to mine jewels and
rubies
and minerals.
It wasn't the influence of your father being in oil and...
Those days, not yet.
Okay.
Don't understand that much yet.
Right. And it wasn't the influence of your friends, it was just you. I like jewellery, I like rubies. I'm going to be...
Because, by the way, I forgot to tell you one thing is, just before I was entering university, I was still in high school on the 8th standard, 1947. We have an independent in January 1948. In 1947, political split between the communists, socialists, and what we call Yebo. Yebo is ex-army. No, they just follow our General Aung San. No political idea. Just follow Aung San.
Aung San.
The Yebo. So there are and Karen rebel. Four groups. First is communists. Even in communists there are two splits. Red flag and white flag communists. One is Tekken Tanton, another is Tekken So. Tekken So is Russian communism, Tanton is Chinese communism. And then we have Socialist Party, led by Unu and Ujonye and Ubaswe. Then we have Yebo Party, led by General Aung San. And then we have Karen rebels, Karen independent group. So there are four major groups. There are small minor groups, there are two. So out of these four, they split in before 1947, and they went underground, especially the communists. But Karen army is not going underground, they stay input. Yebo is with General Aung San, they are in power because they were appointed as a chancellor. And then we have socialism, which is joined with Aung San. So, in 1947 early, these are split. But Aung San achieved an agreement with British Prime Minister Mr. Attlee to give an independent to Myanmar. And Aung San and Attlee signed an agreement known as Aung San Attlee Agreement in early 1947. In 1947, July the 19th, I think, General Aung San was assassinated. So the split began more wider. But assassinated by the independent Kalong Party, which is pre-war party men, assassinated him. Anyway, Unu came up. Aung San was dead. But at that time, Aung San Party Yebos also split between white Yebo and yellow Yebo. and there was some kind of, they tried to drop part of Rangoon where we live, come across the river, and they shoot fire, and stray bullet hit my father and died in that Camadine raid, one of the famous raid in Yangon. So at the age of 15, I lost my father.
So just explain again, they came across the river to fight against who?
At the night.
At night, just to steal things? Or?
Yeah, just to steal things, but they are not successful, but they are shooting bullets indiscriminately, and one of the bullets come into the house and hit my father.
Oh dear.
And stray bullet. So anyway, so I want to say, is my father dead? Before I finished my high school, end of 48. My father died in 47. And the independent New Atlee agreement, after Aung San died, they signed another agreement called New Atlee agreement, and we have an independent on January the 4th, 1948.
And so what was the effect of your father dying on the family? It must have had a big effect.
That's why when I finished my high school, my mother said, whatever subject you like, you do. So I decided, without my father's guidance, I decided to take the geology.
I've forgotten, what number in the family were you?
Number one.
You're the eldest.
I'm the eldest.
Yeah.
Actually, we born three. The eldest is daughter, but died at the age of after a few months.
Right.
And so I'm the eldest and the younger brother.
Right. And so off you went in to study geology.
Yeah, geology, physics, maths. And I finished in 1953. After 4 years, I got a bachelor degree.
Of science, is that what it's called? A bachelor of science?
Yes, bachelor of science.
Yeah.
And then at the time there are state scholar offering. And I applied it, I got a government state scholar.
Which means what?
That means I have to study in America.
Everything paid for?
Everything paid for. They pay for my books, school tuition fees, plus those days in 1950s, $140 for food per month.
Which was plenty?
School dormitory, we pay about 100 or so, about $40 free, more.
And was your mother, what happened to your father's businesses?
My mother continued running it.
Oh, she was a businesswoman as well.
Yeah, my mother continued running it and my brother assisting her.
Your younger brother?
My younger brother.
He didn't
My younger brother is 4 years younger than me.
He didn't go to university like you?
He didn't go to university like me.
Right.
He finished high school and then
into the business.
So
tell me about your years in America as a young Burmese boy. There couldn't have been too many Burmese there.
Those days, government was offering about 100 student scholarship abroad, not only to America, mainly to America and UK and other countries, also Australia included. So one of the UN visiting professor, George Crown, he is from Ohio State University. So he helped me to get the entrance into their Ohio State University.
What, you met him here?
Yeah, he was 2-year visiting professor teaching us under UN UNESCO program.
This is in your Bachelor of Science degree?
In my Bachelor of Science degree in Rangoon.
Right.
At time he was a visiting professor.
You're very lucky, right?
Yeah, so he helped me to his university to get an entrance. And those days, Rangoon University is under the control of Imperial University of London.
Top university.
Our Rangoon University degrees are recognized and accepted internationally.
Yeah, Imperial colleges are very respected.
Yes, because all our syllabus, examination were formulated and guided by Imperial College. And most of the graduates go to Imperial College in London.
But you chose to go to America.
Because geology I go to.
Right, because
George Crow helped me to his university.
Because Imperial College is not big onto geology, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I graduated in May or June because our exam was in March. And we know the result by May or June something. And September the 4th, I was on a plane to America.
Was that a shock arriving in America?
More or less, because this is the first time in my life to get out of the country.
Absolutely.
And a long flight on a plane too. I never fly before.
Of course.
And on the September the 4th, my mother came and sent me off at the airport.
Tears from your mother?
Yes. And for almost 4 years, we communicate with a letter every week. No telephone those days, like now.
Yeah.
No email, nothing.
So she was very supportive, though, for you to do this postgraduate study?
Yes, she sent me some more money too, pocket money too. So anyway, the plane was KLM. Those days are what they call 4-engine Constellation plane,
Right.
American plane, 4-engine Constellation.
So you went via Europe to America, not via the East?
Not by the East.
Yeah.
And the plane was in September is the beginning of the holiday season or end of the holiday season. Plane full of Dutch people coming from
Indonesia,
Jakarta.
Yeah.
And then in Yangon, I'm the only Burmese passenger on the plane, young kid. And then the plane stopped again in Calcutta. There was one Indian came up. So we have 2 Asians sitting together. The rest is all Dutch, speaking Dutch.
You must have been very excited, though, weren't you?
Yeah, it was a totally different world. And from Calcutta, the plane fly to Karachi. And there we sleep. We arrived there about midnight, or before midnight, about 10 or so. And they took us to the hotel to sleep.
Goodness.
And 5 o'clock they wake you up and take it back to the plane. Those days, I want to tell you, and then the KLM fly from Karachi to Cairo. And Cairo we get about 10 o'clock. From Cairo we flew to Rome. There are passengers coming in and going out. From Rome we arrived there about 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock to Amsterdam. And it was September, the sun is still bright. Until 9 o'clock, the sun never set. September in Europe, in Amsterdam. So we are surprised. It's a new life. And anyway, 9 o'clock we changed to PEA, British Airways, and get another hour flight to London.
God, what a trip.
Yeah. And when I get to London, we stay in some hotel one night, and then we have to wait for almost a week to get the next plane from London to
New York.
New York,
yeah.
I'm telling this because those days our flying is like that. And then when I get to London next morning, I called a taxi, I check out, I'm going to stay with my friends. My student, previous 1 year senior students from my Rangoon University are already in Imperial College, and they have an apartment in Kensington Road. So I called a taxi, I told the taxi driver, take me to Argyle Street. And the taxi take me to the Argyle Street in East London. There are two, Argyle Street and Argyle Road.
Yeah.
So I got to the wrong place. And finally, I said, Argyle Road. Then he said, why did you not say Argyle Road and take me back to Kensington area?
Expensive taxi fare.
Taxi fare. But I met my friends and we lived together for a week because I reported to Burmese embassy in London and they take care of me, give me daily allowances and booked a flight to America. And then the day to go to America, I study in the morning, take a flight to London to Glasgow. And I have to wait, this is BA, wait whole day. At night, the KLM, this time is KLM, came from Amsterdam, Glasgow, Canada in North Canada, and then New York. Then stayed in one night in New York, and the next day fly to Columbus, Ohio. I get to the college. This is a remarkable.
What a long trip.
Long trip.
But all exciting, no doubt. For
That
you
is
at that
in
time.
the early 1950s.
Yes. Yeah, Britain's still recovering from the war. And how were you well treated when you got to Ohio?
Yes, I got there, was well treated. I take this is a quarter system at Ohio State University, and one quarter to get orientated. I have to take some chemistry courses because in Myanmar I have only physics, maths, and so I have to take chemistry courses to update myself.
And were you doing a Masters of Geology?
Yeah, Master of Geology. So I arrived there in September 1953, and then in July, August of 54, I had to go to the field trip to start doing my thesis in Utah.
Utah. And were there any other international students?
No international students. I'm the only foreigner. The rest are Americans.
And how did Americans treat you? What was it like? Was it?
They are good.
Good.
And then, you see, during the orientation couple of seminar, they put me to have a lunch, free lunch, at fraternities. They selected one fraternity for me to go and have a lunch every day, except Sunday, so that to meet the student and to be
from all the different years
of student.
College, yeah.
And our days in the 50s in United States, everybody belonged to sorority or fraternity. The women go to
sorority.
And it was a good way of trying to emerge into a school society. And also they recommended me to go for swimming classes and dancing classes.
Good.
So anyway,
they did take care of you as an international student.
Yes,
then.
I was very lucky.
Yeah, I don't think international students anywhere would get that sort of treatment now, because you're one of many.
I don't think so, not now.
Yeah.
But those were the good days.
Yeah.
In London, when we were there, still rationing is on.
Yeah.
Eggs and chocolates you have to buy with the ration card. Anyway, this is a totally different life. Now, later on, I visited London. It's totally different. London became an Indian city.
And in Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio, how long were you there?
I was there for September 1953 to March. I graduated in March 1956. That is 3 years.
Yeah, and you then had a Masters of Geology.
Plus, I finished my PhD course.
Oh, you did a PhD?
But no, not thesis. Yes, thesis yet. Only the courses and one language. Because you need 2 foreign languages.
Where?
In Ohio State, in United States, if you get a doctorate, you need 2 foreign languages.
Bet you they don't do that now.
So I finished French classes, but I still had to finish my Spanish.
That's
and
3
thesis.
languages.
So
4 languages for you.
Yeah.
Burmese, English, Spanish and French.
So I didn't finish up to PhD, but I got my master on my halfway. So my master thesis was done in Utah, St. Pete Valley on Wasatch monocline. My supervisor is Professor Dr. E.M. Speaker. He is quite an old gentleman those days.
So you had very good teachers.
Yes, very good teachers. So I had to start my summer field work from 54 July, August and 55 July, August.
And what did you do when you finished your Masters in 56?
Let me talk to you my experience in the Wasatch Plateau.
Sure.
So the university give geology student, 2 students, 1 stage weapon to do the survey. So, and it was sponsored because Ohio State University Geology Department is attached with USGS Geological Survey Branch. So they assign the students where to go and do the survey. Not USGS assign it, but the university will advise the area. So I have me and my American friend, David Powell.
Still remember his name?
Yeah. we go, actually it's 3. So 3 persons in one car. We drive ourselves, one after another. I got the American driving license too. So we drive our turn. And first we sleep at the Kansas City. And next we sleep at Colorado.
School of Mines?
This School of Mines.
Yeah.
What is the name?
Denver, Colorado?
Denver, not Denver. Colorado School of Mines is Golden, Colorado.
Okay.
This is just a couple of miles west of Denver.
Okay.
About 10 miles west of Denver, Golden, Colorado. And the third night we arrived to St. Pete Valley, Mount Pleasant, St. Pete Valley. So 3 nights we had to. And we sleep those days not in a hotel. There are car parks where there are security, water, electricity, all there. They have national car park along the highway.
Sleep in the car?
No, you got your sleeping bag. You can sleep outside. It was a summer.
Yeah, summer, yeah.
Yeah. So it was fun. And then we spent 2 months, total 4 months. And then the area for our thesis is next to one another. It's a big monocline with all the rocks exposed. They are tertiary monocline. And then this block is your block, that block is your friend block. We kept near the creek where the water is clean and everything, and then leave the car and do the mountain climb. And this is the one of the natural gas rich area in Utah. Anyway, what I want to say is we have to use the plane table method. That is, you've got a telescope and a pole, somebody station pole. If you read 4 feet, that means 400 feet. Telescope measurement, not tape measurement. So these blocks are next to one another. When your friend is mapping his area, you are the rod man.
Okay.
And he mapped on the table with the telescope, he draw, and on your side, he is the bowman. That's how we operated in the United States. And after the survey, every year, we take about 2 to 3 weeks. We go to Las Vegas, LA, and all those things, come back the southern route back to Ohio State. Because the car is free.
And you're still on a scholarship?
Still on a scholarship. That is on a scholarship. And then gasoline is only 19 cents per gallon those days in the United States. Anyway, that is, I finished the schooling and government sent me back to Yangon, but not by plane this time, by boat.
Where from? Los Angeles or somewhere?
No, from New York.
From New York?
From New York. Because Columbus is, I graduated in Columbus, Ohio, take a train to New York, and from New York, I was lucky. They give, after your graduation, they give you a cabin class ticket. Not first class or tourist class, cabin class. So cabin class got movies and music in club in the evening and all those things.
You must have been very young on the boat though, in cabin class, weren't you? Quite young?
Yeah, I was only, not even 25 yet.
Yeah.
And then we have 5 days to cross. And we were having dinner and we met a Greek family on a boat. They live in London, but they are Greeks. And we enjoyed the trip coming back. The boat first stopped at France, Calais, and then the next day to Liverpool, and then London, and then I had to change the boat from Liverpool going down to Southampton, going down to Burma. Through the first stop is Cairo, next stop is Aden, next stop is Ceylon, and back to Yangon.
You're talking about a boat again or flying?
Boat again.
Boat again?
Yeah.
Another couple of weeks?
1 month.
1 month?
1 week from America, 5 days from New York to London, and 1 month from London to Myanmar, because the boat stopped about a day in Suez,
yes,
about a day in Aden, and a week in Ceylon, Colombo. There we all go down and see the mountains and pagoda, and then back to Yangon. And I got 1 week leave and asked me to join the job.
Which was with whom?
Which was with the government.
Yeah.
At the Ministry of Mines, Geological Department.
As
Geological Department of Burma, Ministry of Mines.
So how many of the rest of the civil servants would have had sort of the international degrees that you had? Were you unusual or?
Not unusual those days. Now is almost none. But during my days, every year government said our tithe year is about 100. Next year is about 200. Or then increase up to 300 a year. That was the UNU government, very wise. They are giving scholarships.
Yes.
To the students to go and study.
Sound like fantastic scholarships.
Fantastic those days.
Yeah.
Now not a single.
Yeah, I mean, how you lived, I mean, not many students can live like that.
Yeah. That is, I have a very lucky. And then I don't finish my doctorate. So later on in working with the government in the late 1960s, the government gave me to take few leaves at the time to finish up my thesis in Kyoto University, Japan.
So your credits
corresponding university
with Ohio,
with Ohio State and Kyoto.
Fantastic.
Not Tokyo, Kyoto University.
Right.
And then one thing I choose Kyoto side is they accepted English as a foreign language. They also need 2 foreign languages. In America, English language they are not accepted as although I'm a Burmese.
Yeah. So what was your second language?
So English and the French is I already passed the examination in America. So, and that was, I finished in 1970.
So you got your doctorate?
Doctorate in Kyoto University in 1970.
In geology?
In geology, petroleum geology.
Petroleum geology.
Yeah.
And tell me, by then are you married or you not?
I was married my first marriage was in 1963.
Oh, so you weren't, when you finished your PhD, you weren't yet married?
Yeah. No, PhD is 1970.
70, sorry, yes.
1963, my first marriage, but it's later on died, and I have another marriage in 1970.
Okay. And when you came back from Kyoto, did you go back to the same government department? Is it MOG?
Yeah, same department.
Was that MOGE?
MOGE.
Ministry of Oil and Gas Enterprises.
Yes, same under the Ministry of, different ministry. Those days, same under the Ministry of Mine.
Right.
In the 70s.
Right.
Same ministry.
Right. And so when you came back in 1970, did you go back to a more senior role in the...
Actually, I just take a month leave and go and sit for my exam and do my thesis, submit my thesis, come back, and everything like that.
Okay, so it's just a month off to...
Yeah, for 2-3 trip.
And tell me about how the ministry operated at that time. You know, was it lots of exploration going on?
Okay. So I would tell you was, I came back...
Do you need to have a sip of water or a sip of your...
Yeah. I came back in May 1956, and I got 1 week vacation and straight to the Burma Geological Survey. And there I stayed few months, and my first job after I joined, there was some big earthquake in Mandalay and Yangon.
Yeah.
It's a Sakine fault.
Yeah.
So the newspaper, everything, me and another geologist, they send up and go and check the fault line. So we do a fault line survey for a couple of weeks. And then they send me mine inspection in Tawai, down south, where the tin and wolfram mines are. There are some dig tunnels and mine it, and some are alluvial, they just dredge it.
From the river. Yeah.
Dredging it. Anyway, those were the trip, and one more trip they sent me when I was PGD was they were looking for iron ore those days. They want to build a steam mill. So they asked the BGD, Burma Geology Department, look for iron ore. So me and another geologist, Han, we were sent on a local boat, you know?
Yeah.
And we have about 700 islands down south in Magui Pelago before we get into Thailand and Malaysia. About 700 of them.
I didn't
some
realize
are
so
big,
many.
some are some are big, some are small. So these are all metamorphosed and igneous rocks. So they asked us to check any big deposit of iron ore there. So we spent a month around there. So after those few months, less than a year for definitely, we were assigned to another corporation under the Ministry of Mine. That is called MRDC, Mineral Resources Development Corporation. Mineral Resources Development Corporation. And I was sent there. And there, my main job, I have two jobs. I spent 3 years, 67, 68, 69. I spent 3 years. My two main jobs is we had to survey coal seam deposit, all the coal seam on the foothills of Arakan Yoma from central to Chinwin area around that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, summertime we were surveying and prospecting coal on the Eocene age, lower tertiary age. And the rainy time we were assigned to do the core drilling in Monywa. Monywa is a dry season area. Little rain, not too much. We do diamond drilling to find out the coal deposit and calculate the result. So west of Monywa, there was a hill, two hills. One is Lebanon Town, another hill is Chisen Town. So Lebanon Town we drill maximum 100 foot over cover. Some are only 50 foot cover. Underneath they got 2 to 3% copper deficit. That is, we spent about 2 summers doing the coring and measuring. And now that Lebanon Town become a hole. They all move the overhead and dig it out. It's run by the Chinese company now.
So you were the original geologist for that deposit?
Yes, I was working under the Yugoslav geologists. They are doing the prospecting. We are attached underneath to do the scoring. So I learned.
So then you went up in.
Later on I became a senior geologist.
Right.
In the Ministry of Mines.
Yep. And
then, in 1954, Myanmar Oil Company became joint venture with the government. Government took 1/3 shares, bought 1/3 shares of the Myanmar Oil Company and name called Myanmar Oil 1954 Limited.
Right.
That is in 1954. In 1957, Myanmar Oil started exploration in Myanmar after the war. Before the war, they do the exploration. But after the war, that is in 1957, after the war, after the colonial time, 1957, they started exploration together, joint venture with Myanmar government. And then Myanmar government insisting that they should also use Myanmar geologists. So I was picked up by the Myanmar Oil in December 1959.
And how long did you stay there?
Since there I was there to 1975. I retired.
1975.
13 years.
13. So what role did you have when you retired?
So I didn't retire. They transferred me. So I have Myanmar government services starting from 1956 to 75, 20 years service, working in Myanmar. But the later 13 years in oil and earlier 7 years in mineral, mainly coal in December 59.
59, yeah.
Up to then, I was assigned as a well site geologist drilling the well and looking after the drilling fluid, drilling mud.
Yep.
In charge of drilling mud and well site geologist, doing slummager, surveys, all that job. So I was drilling a well together with driller in charge and test geologist. So during those 3 years, I drilled 6 wells. Child well number 1025, discover gas. Ayado 425 discover gas. And then Palayon well 38 blow out. And then Tarawadi well number 1 dry well. And then Chundo well 1 dry well. And
you got an amazing memory still.
And then the Chunyoji well 1 dry well.
That's the 6, yeah.
The 6th well I drilled myself sitting on the well. Every well takes 3 to 4 months to finish. So as I was bachelor, I married only in 62 or 63. That was in 60 to 62, 61, 60, 59, 60, 61, sometime up to 62. And I became, after 6 well, exploration geologist, sitting in an office looking after drilling the wells. In January 1st, 1963, Niuwen government bought the remaining 49% of the
Burma Oil,
Burma Oil.
1954. Yeah.
Become a national oil company, and they changed the name to POI, People's Oil Industry. Then the British went back to Australia, to London. So in the exploration, most of the places are vacant. So they appoint me as a 2 jobs I have to do: exploration manager, chief geologist. I have to take care of chief geologist job, exploration manager, starting from January 1963. So during those days, to cut it short, we were lucky anyway, but there are lots of data left behind by the Myanmar Oil Company, which we study and do the exploration job. And I was the top man for the exploration job. We have assistant coming to us. Under Colombo Plan, we have 2 Japanese geophysicists, the German geologist, 3 Romanian geologists. So in total, we have about 7, 2 Japanese, 2 German, and 3 Romanian joining us, geologists, geophysicists, under the Colombo Plan and UN, all sorts of things. Anyway, we run some gravity, seismic, and then we make a first discovery near our oil field in 1964. We took over in January 63. We make a first discovery in 1964. And 1965, we make a second, that is oil field.
Yeah.
Produce up to nearly 20,000 barrels. Another one in 65, Prom oil field, which is just across the river. We make about 9,000 barrels a day. And then 64, 65, 67, we found another gas field just south of Man oil field, Sripira. And 1968, we find another gas field below.
Does that mean the government gave you plenty of money to do what you needed?
Yes. I was directly reporting to General Ne Win.
Directly?
Directly. Ne Win is interested in oil and gas. That's another story I'll tell you shortly. Anyway, and in 1970, January, we hit the Man oil field, which is one of the major oil fields in Myanmar, getting 20,000 or more barrels a day. So I become famous. That's why they sent me to why you not finish your doctorate degree? Ne Win asked. I said, I cannot finish. The time is up and I can't finish my language. Try and go and finish it up. Because my saying, another doctorate, who already got a doctor, was in mineral side and they are not finding any mineral. I'm finding oil and guy without doctorate, Ne Win doesn't like it. And he said, you finish your... So that's why I got free air tickets paid by the MOGE. My salaries are all paid and paid the expenses to finish my degree.
Directly a gift from Ne Win?
Ne Win, direct order.
And tell me, so you knew him quite well?
Yes.
You meet him every month or something like that? Is that the...
Yes, almost every month or more than every month. He invited me for see the dinner and movie at his home.
Oh, the famous movies, cowboy movies.
Movies all the time. And the funny thing I want to tell you in my life, Ne Win, when he was the chief of the army, during the UNU administration, he was just the chief of the army. He was very friendly with Myanmar Oil General Manager, Lefroy, and other successors. He used to go and have drinks together on the Inya Lake because they live opposite the Inya Lake. This side is a greenback, Myanmar Oil General Manager. The other side of the lake was Ne Win house. And Ne Win was very interested in oil. And one time we were all heard that Ne Win said if he had to retire from army, he wanted to be the general manager of Myanmar Oil. So they were friends. And Ne Win used to have a drink also quite often between these two gentlemen. Anyway, so when I hit all these things and he was taking me as his, we were one time known, myself and another army colonel, Mount Cho, we were one time known adopted son of Ne Win because we were free to do quite a lot of things. Anyway, that is the past. The funny thing is, when I found all those things and Ne Win invited first time one evening in his house to have a dinner, drink, and he showed movies after that. And then, not only myself, there are other ministers much senior to me, age and position, and Ne Win. And then the evening started, Ne Win was drinking, lots of the ministers and colonels drinking soft drinks. And the butler of Ne Win came and gave me a whiskey. I didn't ask for the whiskey. And Ne Win looked at me, and since then he didn't say anything. This guy can have a whiskey. So what happened was, Ne Win was, as I say, having friendly with Myanmar Oil general manager. And Myanmar Oil has trained one good butler, the English butler. He's an Indian. And when the Myanmar Oil was taken over, the English people went back. They went pick up this butler and put him in a military rank and let him serve him in his house. So his name was Raju. And Raju see me, I've been invited to general manager house for occasion by occasion. He know I drink with it in Myanmar Oil. He didn't ask me, he bring me here with him.
He knew what you drank.
So anyway, those were the days of finding things. So one of the things I want to clarify you is, Nguyen is a nationalist. Nguyen is a nationalist. His first period, that is 1962 to 1974. 1974 is the first Myanmar way to socialist party government. Before that is military government. During that military government, he is nationalist and pushing to develop the country. I am always supported him. I am also a nationalist. But after 74 election and a new government called Myanmar's way to Myanmar socialism, that's the lousy part. And worse is after 1988. So I am in the first part. We are the nationalist part.
That was a good part of your career.
And also everybody is no corruption, nothing those days. All are working for the country.
It was the second part that was...
From 1974, all...
So when did you retire from the MOGE?
Yeah, I retired in 75. I tell you the story.
Right.
My story, real fact is, after finding oil fee every year, the army people start thinking it's an easy job. They don't know the petroleum system or plate tectonics and all these different things to look into the source, migration, everything. They think we are finding oil every year, oil and big or small field. They think they can do it. And the Army Colonel Maung Cho and his boss Maung Ka became a prime minister after 74 prime minister, and Maung Cho became they were mechanical engineers. They think easy to do. And they want to take over, and I got a conflict with them. And they were telling Nguyen that I was fooling around and not doing the job. The main difference with them is they want to take over my position, and the conflict at that time was we are expanding a refinery. I was working with Mitsui company and trying to expand the Syrian refinery. Maung Cho, on the other hand, Colonel Maung Cho, on the other hand, was working with Mitsubishi Group, and they want to build a new refinery south of Mimbu. So that is one big difference. So anyway, what they were, at the same time, the offshore, Nguyen was so enthusiastic about finding oil in the offshore, we're finding only gas. we can't find any oil. And while we were concentrating on offshore, we lacked some exploration onshore because we have limited staff, we have limited experienced staff. And to develop the oil field, they don't understand is we have to control producing formation pressures. Otherwise, the well will finish up and die down because the pressure we have to control.
Yes.
So that I use only 2 rigs in the new discovery Man oil field to drill. 2 rigs mean we are drilling about 24 or 25 wells a year, or 30 wells maximum. And he was telling Nguyen that I was playing around and not doing enough work.
So what was the end result?
And the end result, Nguyen retired me and put Mount Cho as a deputy minister and formed the energy ministry.
Okay. So in 1975 you would have been 40...
I was 43.
43? And what did you do then?
I had to wait 2 years to get my passport, and I go to Singapore, start my own consulting business.
On Myanmar oil and gas?
Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia?
Because I can't get any job because they were against me.
Oh, they blocked you?
They blocked me. So anyway...
There's so many stories in different ministries like this, right? The way they behave.
Yes. And I want to tell you the truth, the facts. Then they bought rigs from China and drilling 5 rigs in Man oil field, and the production over 20,000 barrels a day dropped. Because the pressure dropped. They drilled wells, finished 2 wells, produced 500 or 600 barrels a day. Next day, the following field dropped 500-600 barrels.
So did they lose their job?
They lose their job after 12 years.
12 years?
When they don't find any more oil field onshore. All they find is about less than 1,000 barrels a day well, just like a hand-dug well.
Nguyen must have regretted his decision.
Yes, Nguyen, then he made a mistake. In 1990, when the Burma opened again, and the UN was welcome that time, because Aung San Suu Kyi and all are forming before the
elections.
Then the foreign oil company like Shell, Total, Amoco. So Amoco managing president met Nguyen. Nguyen was already retired, and he asked Nguyen, "They like to come and explore Burma. Any suggestion who knows about Burmese geology?" And Nguyen told this Amoco boss, "Go to Singapore. There's a chap named Aung Khin. He knows about it." So anyway, Amoco came and called me and gave me $5,000 a month as a consultant. And I recommended, and they got the Chinwin Basin. And they do quite a lot of exploration work. And finally, they have this
The sanctions?
Sanctioned,
Yeah, they had to withdraw.
and they all withdraw. So that's my story.
It's a wonderful story. It's a wonderful story. It's a pity, as I said, so many people, because of the jealousy in the military at that time.
Yes, yeah.
There are destroyed.
After 74, no good.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I the one who started the offshore oil exploration.
And very successfully onshore.
Yes, successful onshore and offshore. The third well I drilled hit the gas and was a blowout, and the rig was burned. No casualty because it takes 24 hours before the burning start, and collapsed and lost. The rock pot is in London Admiralty of this blowout and the drilling rig because it's registered under the London Admiralty.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
One last thing, just about...
And that discovery is now called Yadana gas field.
And that's the one that you first drilled.
hit.
First hit.
Yeah. And then the reserves are calculated 7 trillion cubic feet. And it's already producing 20 years and export to China, Thailand.
Is that the one Total did?
Yes, yeah. Total and Unicel came in later on.
Just to finish, your family. So do you have children?
I have no children. My brother doesn't have a children. Already married. So we are the end of our family.
The end of the line.
The end of the line.
Well, Dr. Aung Khin, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry I'm maybe too long.
No,
but I want
fine.
to be everything complete.
There's only one chance. I probably won't be back to do another one. Mm-hmm. But thank you so much for your time. I really appreciated hearing it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.